let me share my screen and show you how exactly we are going to implement the case study which talks about the concept of caching. Okay, so before we actually implement the case study, let me write the important points to remember when we are implementing this case study. Today, we are going to see only one program. We are going to see only one program which is of nearly 170 lines. But I am going to explain the same, the entire program, which is a case study for implementing the concept of cache or to simulate. Basically, we are trying to simulate. So, topic of the day is to simulate the concept of caching in operating system. To simulate the concept of caching. How we are going to simulate? What is a cache memory? I already told you. It's a small amount of memory which can save the frequently used items. Which can save frequently used items. Okay. So you can also say that cache memory. Let us take two database tables to implement or to simulate this concept. To simulate the concept of caching. To simulate the concept of caching. We basically I am going to take two tables. First table is all videos DB table. What is all videos here? How come a concept of videos came here? I am trying to case study to simulate caching. To simulate caching. The case study is, let us imagine a user requests a video file. Let us imagine a user requests a video file. First, the program shall search in cache table. If it is available, the user will get the video from the cache table. Basically, the user will get the video from the cache table. Not the entire video, will get the video location from the cache table. Because I cannot store the entire video in a table. I cannot store the entire video in a table. So what I am going to do is, I will keep some metadata about the video. For example, what is the video ID? What is the name of the video? Where it is available in the machine? Example. Okay. Now, in case if it is not available, if the video is not available in the cache table, the program has to fetch the details of the video from the master table, that is, for example, all videos data table, all videos table. What is this all video? What is a user requesting a file? There might be some doubts. Let me clarify your doubts. Let us take 10 video files or 10 videos. Imagine the details about all the videos are stored in all videos database table. So there is one table. Imagine this table as secondary memory. Imagine this table as secondary memory. See, we are trying to simulate the concept. We are not trying to bring out the real concept, but exactly how caching happens. Okay. We are trying to mimic by using two tables. Both are database table only. Imagine one as secondary memory. Imagine another as cache table in the one of the primary memory. Okay. Now, let us keep the size of the cache as 3. What does it mean? It means that only three video files data can be stored in the cache. Only 3 video files. That means total videos available are 10, but my cache will allow only 3. So out of total 10 videos, only 3 can be stored in the cache table. So at any point of time, if the user or if the video is available in the cache, let us try to increment the count and timestamp. What is count and timestamp? Count means how many times the user has asked this video. See, trending video, people will say trending video. How people can say it is a trending video? In YouTube also, you know, some videos are very much viral. How? The number of the viewership is increasing. When viewership is increasing, that means the video is becoming famous. If the video viewership is very less, that means it is also a video which is accessed by some people, but it is not very famous. Okay. So in cache table, I am going to store how many times the video has been accessed and the timestamp exactly when it is being accessed. Now, one last point, what I mean to say is, one second. So second one is some cache table, cache videos table. I may change the table names, but I am just writing it. Okay. Now, what will happen if the video is not available in cache table? What will happen if the video is not available in the cache table? It's very simple. Now, because cache can store only 3 videos data and a user has requested a new video which is not in the cache. It's not a new video, a video. A video can be old or new. Requested a video which is not available in cache. Now what we have to do? What we need to do is replace one entry in the cache. Replace one entry in the cache. That means delete the old or delete the record of a video from the cache which is accessed less number of times. For example, there are 3 videos. I'm going to show you one small screenshot, and I am going to explain you the theoretical part, and immediately in another 5-10 minutes, we will see the way how we can actually implement this concept in a Python program. So what I mean to say, in case if a user is asking a video which is not available in cache, then what you need to do is remove one entry. First of all, you will fetch from the main table, but now it is a time that a new request has come. So you need to replace the cache. You need to replace the cache with which one we will delete. You can say delete the record of the video where it is accessed less number of times. For example, in cache memory, one video is viewed 5 times, one video is viewed 3 times, another video is viewed only 1 time. So the least famous is a video which has only viewership of 1. So you will remove. But what will happen? What will happen if there are more than one record which is accessed less number of times? That is also a question, no? What I mean to say, there are 2 videos. Sorry, total there are 3 videos. One is viewership 3. Another 2 are only 1. Now, which record you will remove? Now, if the count or the number of times the video is accessed is having a tie, then what we can do is consider the timestamp of the video accessed, or you can say the video accessed timestamp. Consider the video accessed timestamp and remove the oldest timestamp entry. Are you able to understand what I am saying? This is how we are going to implement the concept of caching today. Then some people may get it out. How user will request a video in a Python program? Okay, so I am going to explain you by using a small screenshot. Whatever I have explained in theoretical point of view just now, I am going to explain you with a small screenshot, and then I am going to explain the implementation part. Let me know whether you understood the concept of caching and the way we are going to simulate this scenario. If you have any doubt in understanding the case study that we are going to learn today, please let me know in the chat box. Please let me know in the chat box in case if you have any difficulty in understanding the concept which we are going to learn today. Let me come to the chat box. I believe that I am very much audible and you are able to watch my screen. Okay, one of the participants, Mr. Mahesh, has sent me a message that it is well understood. Okay. Okay, thank you, Sri. Okay. Now I can see some messages. Okay, fine. Now let me show you, in case if you still have any difficulty, what is this count of the number of times the video is accessed? What is this timestamp is? Let me show you one screenshot which I have used in the same college in one of the FDP program last year. So I am keeping that screenshot with me always because it's a screenshot which gives more information. So let me open a directory, the CIET directory. Today we are going to see the caching concept case study. Now, everybody, please try to understand. Instead of telling you the theory, I am going to show you an implemented program screenshot last year. I am going to implement again in front of you. Imagine there are 3 videos in the cache. Initially, cache will be empty. So the first 3 requests will be as it is going into the cache. Imagine a situation where there are 3 videos. Okay, video 5, video 8, video 12. See, actually there is no, even though there is a video here, we are not going to store the video. We are only going to store the location of the video. Location of the video. Okay, just to simulate the cache. Now, there are 10 total available videos. There are 10 videos which are available in total. So, I am going to write a Python program where a video will be randomly selected. For example, user is asking a video. No, here there is no user. Program itself will select one video file. For example, just imagine video 5.avi. When the user is asking video 5.avi, what we are doing in the program is first search the cache table. Search the cache table. See, listing the video files in the cache. Video 5.avi is available. Video file.avi is available. So we are displaying a message saying video 5.avi is available in cache database, for example. Then what we are going to do, and the access time, user is asking a video 5.avi, no, that time we are taking. Everybody please observe the timestamp earlier is 3:26 a.m. on 13th June 2020 year. Now the time is 13th June morning 3:33. Yeah, you are seeing the correct time. I was actually practicing the program in that midnight only. So that is the real time which I tried my program. Now everybody please observe, because the user has asked video 5 again, which is already available in the cache. What we are going to do is, everybody please observe, now count will become 2 and the timestamp is updated. The timestamp is updated. New timestamp comes and the count will increase from 1 to 2. This is what we are going to do in case if it is available already. Now, again, if you run the program, now the user is selecting to watch video 11. If it is video 11, it is not available in the cache. See, clearly it's, our program will say it is not available in the cache. When it is not available, what you need to do? You need to replace one of the file from the cache memory. One of the participant is asking, Sri, can you show it with live example? I am going to show. I am going to explain the program and I am going to show you the live. But to make you understand, I am showing you the executed file. Participant Sri, is it clear? I am going to show you. I am not going to tell only theory. I am just to make everybody understand what exactly we want to do. I am explaining it. Now, if video 11 is asked, then we will say that video 11 is not available. If video 11 is not available, what you need to do? You need to remove one of the file from the cache table. Which one you will remove? Which has the least count. But unfortunately, here there are two files which have the least count. See here, video 8 is also count 1, video 12 also count 1. Now, what you have to do, there is a tie. What you need to do is compare the timestamp. One video is accessed at 326, another video is accessed at 346. So you need to remove the 326 video. You need to select the least timestamp. First thing is least count. Second thing is least timestamp. If there is a tie break, tie in between the count. So in this manner, we will try to implement the caching case study. We'll try to implement the caching case study. Okay. So with this theoretical session, now let us go to the implementation part. Let us go to the implementation part. I hope you understood clearly, everyone, the case study which we are going to work on. See, half an hour, hardly I spent that 29 minutes of time for explaining the theory part. Now the rest of 1.5 hours, we will work on how to implement such kind of case study in Python by making use of all the concepts till we learned. For example, we used files, we used conditions, we used a loop, we know tuple, we know list, we know database. All the concepts I am going to use. Why I am telling this case study? To make you understand how we can bring all the concepts that we learned till now to make a simulation of something. Today I am going to take the simulation that is caching implementation. I trust that this will give. If the count and timestamp are in same, how to solve that problem? It's a good question. Mr. Mahesh has asked. There is a least probability that timestamp will be equal. There is a least probability. Why? Because in case if two users are getting access or a user is asking a same video, in this particular case study, it will never happen that the access timestamp is same. Why? Because we are running the program, user is selecting. It is not real time. In case if it is real time, how they will do? They will take the first entry, first come first serve. In case if everything is tiebreaker, whichever is inserted first, that will be removed first. You can select any one of it. You can select any one of it and you can remove. Is it clear, Mr. Mahesh? Yeah, any more doubts? Shall we go to the implementation part now? The first challenge is, imagine really there are some videos. I am not going to play the videos. Really there are some videos. These are my own videos. I only shot myself with a selfie camera. You can see all these videos are created on one day. Okay. When I am learning this concept long back, I just created my own videos. I am not going to open the video and show you what exactly is that video. You will see only me. Nothing will be there in the video. Okay. Now, how many videos are there? There are 12 videos. Imagine there are 12 videos. I have told 10 videos. Imagine you take 12 videos. When I am telling theoretical part, I just casually use there are total 10 videos. Now it is 12 videos. You can also remove 2 videos also. It's up to, it's okay. Right? Now, how user will ask a video? There is no user here. We are trying to simulate the work of the user. We are going to simulate the work of the operating system. Everything through our own Python program. So let me tell you how to how to make the user to select one of the video. Imagine there is a directory. There is no imagination, it is reality also. Here in my machine it is there. So in my machine, in F drive CAET videos, there are 12 videos. Now user, if he wants to watch, it's very simple example here. You have 12 videos, you have downloaded 12 movies. You will go to that particular directory and select one video and watch the video, right? You may go to YouTube and you can select one particular video and you will watch. You will go to Hotstar, or you will go to Sun NXT, you can go to Z5, you can go to AHA app, you can go to Netflix app, you can go to Amazon Prime Video app. You are actually selecting a video to watch. Automatically no video will come. So by making use of the same concept, everybody please see, I will show you. Imagine all the videos are .avi. Just for simple explanation, I have taken all the videos with AVI extension only. In case if you have other extensions, you need to just add some lines in the code. Now, what is this file which I have opened? This particular program selects the video files with .avi format. For example, let me just execute and show you what exactly is this program doing. See here, slowly it is displaying how many videos are there and the location of the videos are coming. Are you able to understand? Without explaining the program, I just executed it so that you will understand what exactly is that program doing. This program gets the video files with .avi as extension, and it will give me the location of my system where these videos are available. Okay, now let me show you. And I am trying to search the video files in this directory. If you really want to have more complex code, you can also write the directory path in a dynamic manner. You can ask the user, enter a directory where to search. You can keep on searching. Okay, to make things simple in a case study, I have taken a hard-coded directory path. The directory path is F:\CAET videos. Now, in this particular directory, there can be many files. For example, let me copy. Just give me a second. In this video file, only videos are there. Let me simply create sample.txt. I am just purposefully creating some file, sample file. Save it. Now let me create one more, like npp add.py. Purposefully I am writing two files here. Okay, simply say to add. That's all, nothing is there. Now everybody please observe, in this CIET videos directory, if you say dir, now 14 files are there. In addition to the 2 video files, there are 2 more files. One is a Python file, another one is a text file. Now let me come back and execute the same program, that is py. So you can see only the video files will come. So this part of the program is exclusively for searching a video file with .avi as extension. Now you see, even though 2 more other files are there, this program will never go and bother about those files. Now let us look for the logic. Let us look for the logic. This logic is only one line. The logic is only one line. That is line number 9. That is line number 9. Line number 9, what I am going to do is, I will explain line number 9 part by part. First part that I am going to explain you is, everybody see here, os dot list dir, list directory method. OS, you know what is OS, right? OS is a module. OS module has list directory method. What is list directory method doing here? First of all, list directory method will display basically all the files available. It will display all the files available. Now, but I don't want all the files in that particular directory path. So I am giving, everybody see, if a file dot, what is file? File dot ends with, see, ends with is for a file object method which will search. For example, what is a file here? File is just a string. Here file is just a string. What is that string? That string will have the file name. Now that string dot ends with. So here file is a string which has the file name with the directory path. Whenever the file is ending with .avi, only the .avi files. And what is this line saying? File per file in. It looks very confusing line, but it is very easy to understand. Okay, so let me start from here. For file in, that means take each file from this particular directory path, and if it is ending with .avi, take that file and add it to the files list. That is what it says. First, for every file in this particular directory, in case if it is ending with .avi, add it into the list of files. Basically, it is a files list. It is basically creating a files list. So that's why you can clearly see when I am executing the program, the first print statement in line number 10 gives me the list of files. Let me take a small screenshot so that it is easy for you to understand. Print files list is printing me a list. Everybody please clearly observe that this is a list. What is the next print statement? We are trying to print the entire path of the file. We are trying to print the entire path of the file. That is, let me clear all the drawings. And then everybody please see here. Now, what is file list? The list of video files with .avi as extension. Now we are running through an iterator and trying to, file has the file name. Directory path is the path of the file. So I am trying to join both and printing. .join, os.path.join method will actually attach. See, this is a simple logic to show you how you can work on selecting a particular file. Now, if you really want to know, import random method here. Now you can keep this in comments. What is time dot sleep? There is a time method, sorry, time module and a sleep method. You can clearly observe when I am executing the file. Let me show you again. When I am executing the file, see, there is a small gap between the prints. 1 second gap is there. So I'm just trying to show you in an interactive way. That's why I added the time dot sleep. I believe that you might have observed it clearly. So now, if you want, suppose print user requested. User means there is no user. Random dot choice files list. You know what is random and you know what is choice method in it. So from the available files, we are selecting a file randomly, and we will consider that the random file which is being selected is the user's request. See, user requested video 4, user requested video 12. Now you see user again video 12 is coming twice. That means video 12, imagine it is a trending video. Imagine just like that. I believe you guys are able to understand what I am saying. Tell me if you have any doubt till here. In case if you have any doubt, you may ask me now. This is the first part, that is how to simulate a scenario where user is asking to view a video. So what we are doing, we are writing a simple logic. Go to one directory, take all the video files, keep it in one list and select one randomly and imagine that is the user request. Tell me if you have any doubt now. If you have any doubt, please let me know now in this part. I am going to explain you. I cannot execute the code, the entire code, without explaining you the part by part of my program. Okay, that's why I have to explain a segment by segment or module by module. Then in the end of the session, I am going to explain the complete file, and in between also I will show you the intermediate results. And finally, I will show you the complete scenario end-to-end execution also. So now, take 1 minute or couple of minutes break, and we will now. Okay. I think before the break, I will definitely give it a couple of minutes break. But before the break, let me show you 2 more small Python programs. Okay, that is. Let me show you. Imagine there are 2 tables. No, there are 2 tables. One is all videos DB table. Another one is cache table. All videos will have the data of all the videos. Cache initially. Cache table will be created, but without any entry in the table. So this program will create a table called as all videos table. All videos table, which is the main table, or you can simply say that has the information of all the videos, metadata. For example, video ID, video name. You cannot store a video in a database table. Video location. This is the program. This is very simple to understand also. There is no complexity in this. See here, we are trying to import the MySQL client. Then, we need to connect. We need to connect to our CIET workshop. Then creating a cursor. After that, I am creating the table. Create table, all videos DB table, video ID, video name, video location. After that, we are inserting the data. Imagine there are 12 videos. Imagine there are 12 videos. So our location will be, I think, give me a moment. This is a old file. So let me replace it as CIET. Yeah. So now you have in CIET F drive CIET videos directory, we have video1.avi, video2.avi. So I am inserting all the initial locations in the all videos table. So let me just repeat again. We need two tables, one with all the videos, another with only 3 entries, depending upon the user request. So initially you need to load the data in the all videos DB table. That is what I am doing here. So make sure your database is up and running before executing this program. Definitely my database is up and running, and let me open the admin panel of my DB and see how many tables are there before starting the execution of the all videos insertion table program. Let us go to CIET workshop. Clearly you will see that there are only 2 tables which we used yesterday and day before yesterday. There is no video table. There is no video table. Now, if you execute this particular Python file, a table will be created with the metadata information of all the 12 videos. Imagine this is a secondary memory. This table you should imagine as a secondary memory. Now let me execute this file. For example, py. See, before executing, you can clearly see that there is only 2 tables. Okay. Now so before executing, let me take a screenshot and then py insert into all videos DB table. Immediately the program has come out. Now let me come here and check. Everybody clearly observe that one main table is created now. After executing the program, a table has been created which will have the data about all the 12 tables. Okay. Now, if you really want to open and see what exactly the table has, you can open and clearly see that. See, this is just a metadata. This is just a metadata. Okay. The metadata is available. Now, after that, what we need to do? We also need to create the cache table also. We need to create cache table also, but without any data. We need to create the cache table, but without any data. Why? Data will be filled depending upon the user's selection. But all videos has all the videos data. Okay. Now let me explain this program also. Creates a cache DB table cache DB table without data. Without data. This table will have the metadata of the video like video ID, video name, video location, and also two more columns. Count, you know what is count? How many times a video has been viewed, and timestamp. So we need to have 5 columns here. In the all videos table, we have only 3. That is video ID, name, and location. But in this cache table, you need to also have the count and when exactly the video is accessed, the real time where it is being accessed. Now tell me, in case if you have any doubt till here. If you don't have any doubt, then let us move further in the main program, that is simulation of cache study. Simulation of the cache concept. So I believe you are able to understand the concept what we are going to implement and the step-by-step incremental procedure which we are trying to follow to simulate the concept of caching. So let me check the chat box. Now my time is 5:04. Let us take a couple of minutes break here and we will resume the session after that. And in between, if you have any doubt, post in the chat box. Okay, I believe that everybody is able to understand, and let us resume. Okay, now let me open the file. Okay, which may be of a bigger length when you see the file, the number of lines in the code, but I am going to explain you each and every line. Okay, so nearly if you can walk through, there are 168 lines. In between there may be a gap or whatever it may be. But whenever you see a program which is having many lines of code, you should never worry about the lines of code, but you should see and try to understand only the logic. Only the logic. Now, there is one additional module which I am going to use here. That module is called as date time. The module is called as date time. So basically, as the name mentions, it is a module about the date and time. Why I have to use the date and time here? Because I need the timestamp. I need the timestamp. Okay. Why we need timestamp? I think you guys might have already understood. To make use of the system timestamp for the access time, we are using date time module. So if you have any, there are so many things available in date time module. To understand the date time module, let me simply type one small method. Let me type a small method for getting the system time from Python. For getting the system time from Python. For that, go to the Python prompt, import date time. Now, date time has another package date time. In that there is a method called as now. Now you see it shows the year, month, date, hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. But this is not how we view the date. Is it not? This is not the way that we see the date. Usually we will see, for example, 27 May 2021. Like that we will view. So how to change the format given by the Python to our own format? If you want our own format like DDMMYY, hours, minutes, seconds. For that, let me show you one small piece of code. See, why I am explaining you this is, suddenly if a line comes in a program, you should not get scared. See, in the program, I am going to format the time. What is strf time? String format time. Strf time means string format time. That means datetime.now gives year, month, date, etc., etc. But I want to change it to my format. Everybody see here, the same date, the format is coming as 27th May 2021. I don't want milliseconds. 5:12:45 seconds. Again, if you execute, now you can see the number of seconds are changed. Now you see 5:13. It started with 5:12:45 second, 59 second. Now I believe everybody is able to understand this line. Okay. Now, so for the purpose of taking the timestamp, I took the package date time. Now, what is the next line. Everybody will understand this line clearly. That is about connecting. That is about connecting to the database. After that, we are trying to create the cursor, and as I already told you, I already explained you this part of code. Take the directory path, for example, F:\CAET videos, then get the file list, and after that, I have to select a video. I have to select a video. See, this part of the program I have already explained to you. This part of the program I have explained to you already. After that, you can see in line number 26. In line number 26, it looks very strange. How come range 1, 2? What is range 1, 2? Basically, this loop will execute only one time. If range is called with 1, 2. Sir, why to write a loop which executes only one time? There is no point. And first of all, see, I wrote here because I don't want to execute the loop 10 times so that you will not know what is happening in the background. A file will be selected, a file will be deleted, a file will be selected. So for explaining the program, purposefully, I mentioned here as range 1, 2. Ideally, after explaining step by step, in the end of the session, I may change the range to 1, 5 or 1, 10, so that many times the program will be executed and in the background caching will be implemented. Tell me if you have any doubt in line number 26. To show step by step caching. To show step by step caching. Tell me if you have any doubts in line number 26. Let me come to the chat box. I believe that now in line number 28 and 29, it's very simple. What is that? From the files list, I am selecting one file. That file will be the user request. That is our imagination. In line number 28 and 29, we are selecting a video file from the list of the files. A video file from the list of the files. So I believe line number 28 and 29 are also clear. Mr. Mahesh is asking me to execute the program up to 26th line. Mr. Mahesh, I actually thought I will execute the program first time once I explain till line number 57, not before that. Why? Because this program, Mahesh sir, whatever you are asking, this is nothing. I already explained you the same logic in a term of a file before the session. And this is only connecting to the database. I have already explained you the output of the file. Mr. Mahesh, if you got any doubt, let me open. See, I have explained you now, Mahesh. This is the code which I explained you. Same code is written here. Directory path, same. Okay, I think Mahesh has replied. Thank you, Mr. Mahesh. So let us go to line number 28 and 29, which is nothing but selecting one of the file randomly and thinking this is the file user wants to watch. So what you need to do now? you need to see the entries in the cash table. First, you need to see the entries in the cash table. Initially, cash table is empty. Initially, cash table is empty. So, what does it mean? Cash table is empty means whatever the user is asking, it will not be available in the cache. Imagine the maximum size is 3. I have taken, see here, 3 indicates the assumption of only 3 entries in the cache table. Actually, a table can store more. It's just a table, but we are trying to implement a caching technique. So I am restricting it as 3. Why only 3? Just for explaining purpose, I have taken 3. If the number of videos are 1000, you can also take 300 as the size of the cache. If the number of videos are increasing, you can also have a different cache. Because there are only 12 videos, to meaningfully explain, I have taken the total records of the cache as 3. Okay. Now, line number 32 to 35. Line number 32. What is line number 32? Select video name from cache videos DB table. Select video name from cache video. Initially, what it will come? It will come as nothing. Why? Because there is no entry in the cache table. Then everybody please observe my cursor object dot row count. Dot row count is an attribute of a result set. You know what is a result set? Yesterday I explained. Like fetch all. Row count is not a method, it's an attribute. Row count is an attribute of result set. Basically through cursor object. So what it will do? It will give me the row count. For example, if the cache table is empty, row count will be 0. If cache table has 1, row count, total records will be 1. So we are displaying the number of records. So let me keep the rest of the part is commented. Everybody please see here. Let me execute the program till here at least. And then I will explain the next part. So what is happening here? We are searching the video files, selecting one of the video, and then going and seeing the cache video DB table about how many files are there. At this point of time, if I execute the program, you know what will be the output? The output will be number of files. Each and every file will be there. After that, one file will be randomly selected and then cache table will be searched. And number of records will be 0. If you really want to execute, let me just check. Okay. So unfortunately, it says cache videos DB table does not exist. Oh, did I not? Okay, I think I explained you cache creation table, but I did not execute it. So do not worry about the error. Let me come and show you the database once again. My CIET, I forgot to execute a program which creates the cache table. You can clearly see that only all videos DB table is there. So let me create the cache DB table also. Now when I am executing, create cache DB table. Now you come here and see the cache video table has been created, but no data. I believe now you guys will understand clearly why the error has come. Why? Because I forgot to execute this file. You need to execute these 2 table creation files before executing the simulate cache program. Okay. So if you have any doubts, let me execute that piece of code again. See, it has created with 0 rows. Initially, that's why it returned an empty result set. You need to remember that initially cache table will not have anything. Only when we implement the simulate cache program, then only it should come. So let me execute the simulate caching again. Now you see, I have commented some part. I told you first program will create a list of videos. Casually I am displaying there is no need to display the locations here. There is absolutely no need now. I am going to keep it as a comment. For your understanding, I am just writing it, the print statement. Then the randomly selected video file is video5.avi. If you execute the program once again, you may get a different video file. See, now the user is asking video 8. So, the number of records in the cache table is 0. If the number of records in the cache table is 0, that means what we need to do. Let me open the comment. Yeah, and close it again with another part of the program. Now everybody, please try to understand. If you can understand line number 38 to 57, it comes twice. Same piece of code will come twice. So if you understand in this place, in the end of the program also same code will come, which will end. There are main 3 parts that you need to understand now. Okay, let me tell you the 3 concepts here. Case 1. There are 3 cases. Okay, let me tell the theory also. Case 1, when cache table has no rows or no records or less than 3 records, then simply add the entry in the cache table with count and timestamp. That is case 1, which I am going to explain now. Where is the case 1? Case 1 is from line number 38 to 58. From line number 38 to 58. Yeah, 38 to 58. Okay, so let me also write that. 1 second. Let me open the annotation and lines 38 to 58 handles this case. Handles this case. This is very simple and straightforward. Let us try to understand that. So cache table is empty. Imagine you brought a new refrigerator. Initially, nothing will be there in the refrigerator. One after the other, you will keep. And when it is full, still if you want to keep something, you will remove something which is old and keep a new thing. Same concept. If total records is less than 3, if total records is less than 3, that means everybody please observe, there is one variable called as random file. What is random file? Random file is the user's video selection choice. That's what we have simulated. If you have any doubt, see, this is the random file. Video8.avi is the random file. So I need to get the location, video ID, and the video name. For example, what I mean to say, In case if cache is empty or has less than 3 records, then what you are going to do is go to the all video DB table. Now, imagine the user has selected video 8. So you need to extract the video ID, video name, video location from this particular table. That means imagine this is a market. Imagine this is a market and video 8 is an apple. So you are going to market, getting apple and then keep it in the refrigerator. Here refrigerator is like a cache table. So I am using this refrigerator so that you will connect. Don't tell cache means refrigerator. Okay, it's just an imagination. So for that, what I am going to do here is random file will have the actual the video name. So everybody please see here, select star from all videos DB table. What is star? Star means everything. What is there in the all videos DB table? Video ID, video name, location. I don't want all the records. I want only where the video name matches, where video name equal to percentage yes. What is that percentage yes? I know that is random file. So imagine now, in case if the program is selecting video 8, it will go to the all videos DB table, fetch the record of video 8.avi. Now what we will get? We will get the video ID. Everybody please observe. When I am selecting the, I am executing the select query. After that, you know what is fetch 1. Yesterday I explained. I am printing the result set. The result set will be, for example, 1008 video ID, video name is video8.avi and the location. It will be there in index 0, index 1 and index 2. I am taking them in variables video ID, video name and video location, and I am simply printing them. I am simply printing them. Now, in the cache table, other than video ID, name and location, there are 2 more columns, that is count and timestamp. That is count and timestamp. So what I am doing is, imagine when a loop comes here, that means first time the video is being accessed. Imagine. So I am making the video count as 1 and then taking the timestamp initially as null. I am taking the timestamp initially as null. Why I am taking it? I will explain you. Now I have 5 values. I have 5 values. What are those 5 values? This video ID, video name and video location comes from all videos data table of that particular video. See, from all videos data table, I am getting a result set and that result set will give me video ID, video location and video name. From here, we are getting these things. After that, I have taken customized value. First count is 1. Count should start with 1 and access timestamp is initially null. So initially, I will put access timestamp as null. Okay. Now we have 5 more values. Total 5 values are there. Video count and access time. These 5 values I am inserting into cache video data table. See, this and this 5 values I am inserting into cache video data table. Take video ID, name, location from all videos DB table initial count as 1, timestamp as null, insert these values in cache table initially. Why? Because I am unable to directly insert the timestamp. Okay, to get the timestamp inside a query, there is one method. For that purpose, I am not inserting the timestamp in the first in line number 53. Okay, now everybody please observe line number 53. Insert into cache video, video ID, video name, video location, count and access timestamp with these 5 values. These are the 5 values. So after that, I am executing the insert query. After inserting the timestamp as null, now everybody observe line number 55. Line number 55 is another query called as update. For non-CSC background students, insert means insertion directly. Update means after insertion, if you want to modify anything, then you need to write update query. Update cache video table, then set the access timestamp equal to current timestamp method. So current underscore timestamp is a method available in a query, which will take the current timestamp and insert into the cache video table. Insert into cache video table. Now, which record I need to do? Where video name equal to random file. That means for that particular video file, we need to update the timestamp, not for everything. So now let me execute line number 1 to line number 58. First time, second time, and third time. Most likely, the loop will become, the condition will become true. 3 times condition will become true. When it will become true? When cache is empty, it will go. When cache has 1 record also, it will go. When cache has 2 records also, it will go. When cache has 3 records, then if will fail. That means it is a time where refrigerator is full. That we will see in line number 59 onwards. Tell me if you have any doubts till here. Otherwise, I am going to execute. Now, this is case 1. There are 2 more cases. If you have any doubts, please raise in the chat box. In case if you have any doubts, please raise in the chat box. Okay, I'm just waiting for other participants, few participants to respond. Thank you, Sesha Sai. Okay, first let me execute. Yeah, now I can get some responses, I think. Okay, let me execute this particular case 1. Okay, and rest all are commented. Don't see the length of the program. They are very simple lines only. Now, if you want to know, again, you can come here and clearly you can see before I execute the program now from line number, I can say before executing the simulate cache program, cache concept program from lines 1 to 58. That is case 1. Observe that still the cache table is empty. You may get it over where it is empty. it is clearly written here. See, rows equal to 0. If you want to get a good clarification, you can also, I will let me highlight that. Clearly you see cache video table rows 0, but all video table 12 entry. So ideally when I am executing now, cache video table will get one entry with the current timestamp. You can note my time in the system. My system time, you can see it's almost 5:39 on 27th May 2021 year. So now let me clear all the drawings, and I hope now you understand one more thing, that why I wrote loop only once. See here, this loop will execute only once. Initially, you should not execute multiple times so that you will not understand what is happening in the background. Now, fingers crossed, I am executing the simulate caching concept. Now, this is an error for getting the timestamp. So don't worry about this warning. Okay, you can ignore the warning. Now, clearly you see the video which is requested by the user is video 1, but cache table has no entry. So we are pushing the contents into the cache table without page replacement. What is page replacement? Suppose if cache is full, the page replacement concept is well known by the CSE students. So for non-CSE students, what is page replacement technique in operating system is, in case if the cache is full, you have to replace, no? So that we say it as a page replacement. So you don't worry about the technical wordings here. Now the display message shows the video 1. Why video 1? Because randomly it is selected. Is entered into the cache. It looks like it is entered into the cache, but what is the guarantee that it is entered into the cache? Guarantee will be, you need to go and check the database now. Let us come and update. Now everybody can really notice clearly, after executing the program, cache video table got one entry. Cache video table got one entry. Let me show you clearly by highlighting. Now you can see one entry. After executing the program, we got one entry in cache table. One entry in cache table. So I hope everybody understood. Now let me check the timestamp and the count. Clearly it says there is no magic. The timestamp is 5:39 of 27th May. That means just now when we executed. I believe you guys are able to understand. Some of the participants asked me, can you show live? This is live. I believe the session is interesting and you are learning something new every day. Okay. Now let me execute the program once again. Basically, you need to execute 3 times so that 3 new video files will be selected. Now video 4 is selected. Second time video 4 is selected. So now cache will have video 4 also. Now if you click the same CAET, now you have 2 records and you can clearly see, because the cache table is less than 3 size, so it has gone. One more record has been entered. After executing this part of the code, one second. When the video file selected is 4, I got a new entry as well. Now, let me execute once again. Now, video 10 is selected. If video 10 is selected, definitely video 10 also will go now. See clearly, now 3 records. So, my refrigerator is full now. Now onwards, if I execute again, one of the video should go out and the new video should come in. Which one? There are 2 cases. I hope everybody understood the first 3 executions. Tell me if you have any doubt. Today also, I am going to take the session till 6:10. And in case if it is getting further delayed, like 5 or 10 minutes more, I request all the participants to be patient. And in case if anybody has data issues, I think you can watch the recorded session. Because this case study cannot be broken into 2 days. Sometimes I may explain in 1.5 hours, sometimes it may take 2 hours, right? So now, tell me, in case if you have any doubt. Otherwise, I am going to explain the rest of the, don't worry about the next of 100 lines are not there. Some part is common. As I already told you, some parts are common. So don't worry, still there are 100 lines, whether this guy is going to take another 1 hour or not. Don't worry about that. Okay, from line number 60 to line number 168, there are 2 cases. There are 2 cases. Okay, case 1 is when cache is not full. So now, let me just write here, case 2, when cache table is full and we found one record which has least count. Then what to do? It's very simple. Extract the record which has the least count and delete the record from cache. That is step 1. That is step 1. 2. Insert the new entry from the all videos table. You know how to insert a new entry? I have explained just now. Same thing I am going to write in the program again in a different case. Now case 3. So total there are 3 cases. One is cache is empty or less than 3 records. Second, when cache is full, when cache table is full and we found more than one record which has least count. For example, the situation where we are right now, video 1 is there, video 4 is there, video 10 is there. All are having only count as 1. Then which one to remove? Video 1 has the old timestamp. So what you need to do is find the oldest timestamp from the cache table. Find the oldest timestamp from the cache table which has the least count. Now, second, once you find it, then remove that record and insert the new entry. That is common. So step number 2 is common in case 1 or case 2. Remove the record from the cache table when When you find the oldest timestamp, remove that record which has the oldest timestamp from the cache table and then insert the new entry. How to get the oldest timestamp? That is the challenge now. Case 2 is very simple. Case 2 is very simple. Case 3 has a small trick here. Okay. So let me tell you. In case 3, we need to find the oldest timestamp. I am going to use a view concept here. You know what is a view? I told you that at one, I think when I am explaining you the database table concepts, I told you there is a view. View is created from one or more tables. View is not self-existent, but it is created dynamically. I also told you that in the future sessions, when I am explaining one case study, I am going to use. What is a view? Simple. Create a view with minimum count and then select the minimum timestamp record. That is what I am going to show you. How to create a view, how to select the minimum count. Let us see. Now, let us check the code. So this is the logic, and let me show you the code now. So let me come to the program. Okay, now what is this fetch all? Fetch all means there is a query which is executed. For that query, we are fetching all. Where is the query? See here. Line number 60 is not part of the if statement. See here. Let me just click minus. Everybody please observe. I have hidden the if condition. See here. In case if anybody is not familiar with Notepad++, everybody please observe. I minimized line number 38 to 58. That is part of if. So this cache records line will get the answer from this query. It is line number 60 onwards. It is out of the condition in the if, but it is still part of the loop only. So cache records equal to my cursor object dot fetch all basically gets all the video names. When we will come to line number 60, when the if condition is fail. When the if condition will fail, when the cache has 3 records. So all the 3 video names will come. All the 3 video names will come. Okay, let me clear all the drawings and continue. So I am trying to expand again. So don't get confused by seeing one query here in line number 56. Don't think fetch all will give that query. That is part of the if. Sometimes code will actually cheat us. Okay. Code will not cheat, but we may get confusion. Now, what I am doing simply here is I am creating a list of the files which are available in the see. I am getting record by record and printing here. See here record for record in cache records. And what is time.sleep? When I am executing, I want a time delay so that you can view the output slowly. Actually, there is no need of time.sleep here. Okay. So I am printing the records one by one. I am printing the records one by one. Let me show you the screenshot so that you will understand what is this code doing here. Everybody observe, my program is printing. See the screenshot, listing the available video file names. See, listing the available video file names. This is the part of the code which I am trying to show you. This part, we are first displaying record by record in the cache table. Okay. So, one second, let me clear the annotations. After printing the records, initially I am taking an empty list and simply adding that to the list. So here X is a list of files, list of video names, available in the cache table. Now I have to search, right? What I need to do, what I have to do now is, what is random? See, I am taking, everybody please observe, sorry, I am appending, I am taking an empty list. I am taking a empty list and appending the random file. What is random file? Random file has the video name that is randomly selected. That is randomly selected. Why I am taking a list here? You can also take a tuple also. Initially when I wrote, so I have implemented in this manner. Don't think that this is the only way to implement. Now X will have the file which I want to view, the video file name. Cache records is a tuple. Cache records is a tuple. So X is a list. X is a list. I am converting that into a tuple by this method. What is tuple of X? X is a list which has the user video file name. That I am converting it to tuple, like string, str of, int of, like that. You can also convert a list to a tuple. For example, if you really has any doubt, let me tell you, X equal to, imagine video 8.avi. This is how we are taking. Now, if you say print X, this is the, if you say print tuple of X. Now you see why I am converting. Initially, I have taken a list and appended it, empty list and appended. Then I am converting it to a tuple. Why we are converting it to a tuple? Because cache records are coming as a output of a result set. What is cache records? Cache records is fetch all. Fetch all means it is a result set. Result set will be tuple of tuples. So in line number 75 to 76, time.strip, don't worry, that is only a random time delay. I am searching whether the file is available in the cache table or not. If it is available in the cache table, what do you need to do? Increment the count. Increment the count. Why? Because it's already available. Imagine video 1, video 10, video 4 are currently available. When I execute the program again, in case if video 1 comes, because it is already available, you need to update the count and take the current timestamp and insert into the, or update the timestamp in the cache table. That I am doing here. Everybody see, update cache video data table, set. That means set the value. Count equal to count plus 1. So increment the count where the video name matches the random file. What is the random file? The file name. First I am updating the count. After updating the count, for our understanding, I am printing the timestamp on the screen. Everybody, let me show you the screenshot. The screenshot may be old, but this is exactly how our implementation starts. See this line? The timestamp when the record is accessed is for this particular line to get displayed. I have written the piece of code in line number 87 and 88. So just for the sake of printing. After that, because you need to update the timestamp, no, same. Update cache video table, set access timestamp equal to current timestamp. So in case if the file is available, it increments the count and updates the timestamp. I believe you guys have understood it. After that, else. Else means cache, the file is not available in the cache. File is not available. That means case 2 and case 3. Case 2 and case 3. How to get the minimum count? How to get the minimum count? Now, let me just execute this query from the admin panel so that you will understand. Everybody, let me show you the contents in the cache video DB table. Video 1, video 4, video 10. What is the count? 1, 1, 1. If you want to select the minimum count, the query what you need to write is, let me display. Select MIN is a method. Count is the name of the column. As LRU. LRU means least recently used. Okay, from video cache table. Now if I execute this query, clearly it says LRU is 1. That is minimum count is 1. So we are getting the minimum count. Now we are fetching the result set. So it will display the least count is 1. It will display the least count is 1. After that, I want to select how many records are there with the least count 1. How many records are there with the least, not the least count 1. It can be anything. In this example, at this point of time, the least count is 1. So the next query is select star. Star means everything from cache video table where count equal to percentages. What is the percentages I am typing here? LRU count. I am converting that to LRU count of 0 will have 1. This is only for printing the only. I am converting it into a string only for printing, appending. See here, the least count is plus symbol. That plus is for string concatenation. That's why I am converting into string here. So don't get confused with the line number 104. LRU count. See here, LRU count of 0 will have the value. What is the least count? So I am selecting the records, all the records. How many are there? After that, everybody please observe. Now from line number 106 to 109, we are fetching all the records with the least count as XYZ. In this case 1. After some time it may be least count may be different when you execute this program multiple times. Now I am simply displaying those records. How many records have least count? If you really want to know, see here. Everybody, let me show you the output from the screenshot here. The least count is 1. The video files which are least used are. See, this is how I am typing. I am trying to print the values. Okay. Now the challenge starts. We need to verify whether only one record came with least count or many records. How to do that? If RS number of records, what is RS number of records? In line number 119, I am using RS number of records which is taken from 108. Let me highlight that. I am selecting all the data where the least count is matching. So that result set, if it is equal to 1, if it is equal to 1 means what? There is only one record which has minimum count. Then it is very easy. Delete that record and insert a new record. That is case number 2. I am explaining the case number 2 now. Slowly we are entering into case number 2. Case number 2 and case number 3 takes only 5 minutes for me to explain. Even for you also to understand. Now, if the result set is only having one record, then simple. Delete from the cache video table. Delete from means delete the record. Like update, delete query is also there. Delete from cache video table where count is equal to minimum count. Simple. We are only deleting the record directly with the minimum count. Now, later I will insert at a time, whether in case 2 or case 3, whether you have only one record with minimum count or multiple records with minimum count, you need to delete that particular record. So I am writing the delete part of case 2 here. Now, delete part in case 3 starts here. Try to understand. Else means there are multiple records which has least count. There are multiple records which has least count. How to get the multiple records with least count? Now I am going to explain you only 2 queries. Please pay attention. If you understand these 2 queries, rest all program is very, very easy, and which is already explained earlier. How to insert into cache table, you people know. Now everybody, please see here. There is one line called as create or replace view. This is how you can create a view. Create or replace view. That means I create table name. For creating a view, if it is not there, create. If it is already there, replace. That is the meaning of create or replace view. The view name is LRU records. It's a view created. For what purpose? What I will do now is, imagine at this current situation in our program. In our program, at this point, we have 3 records with minimum count 1. So I will create this as a view. From the view, I will extract the access timestamp. Okay, so everybody please observe, create or replace view LRU records, least recently used records. That's what I mean to say. As, how to create? As select star from cache video table, select everything where count is the minimum count, where count is equal to, select the minimum count from the table. Let me copy this query and explain you part by part. First, I need to create a view. The data you need to select is from the cache video table. where count is equal to, I cannot say count equal to 1, I cannot say count equal to 2 directly. So again I am writing one more query. It will select the minimum count, and that, for example, if the minimum count is 1, so here 1 will come in the program. If the minimum count is 3, 3 will come in the program. I believe everybody understood. In case if you have any doubt, after I complete my explanation, you can ask. I will give time. Now, a view is created with all the minimum records. From the view, I will select the oldest timestamp. What I will do? See here, select video ID from cache video table, from the cache video table, where access timestamp equal to, let me copy this particular query and show you here. Just a second, guys. See, select the oldest timestamp query equal to, it's okay. Select video ID from cache video table where access timestamp equal to, I don't know the timestamp directly. So I created a view. From the view, I am selecting the minimum timestamp and replacing here. I believe you guys have understood this particular query also. Now what is going to happen? From the list count, I created a view. From the view, I am selecting the oldest timestamp and I am picking the video ID from the cache video table. Once you have the cache video ID, next thing is simply, delete the record with the oldest timestamp. This is the part that is in line number 141. So execute the query. Now from line number 119 to 143, what we have done is case 2 delete or case 3 delete. After deleting, what you have to do? This is common, which I already explained you. We need to insert. One record is deleted from the cache, so the new entry should come. So line number 150 to 168 is exactly like line number 38 to 58. There is no change. After deleting a record, select the value, get the video ID, video name, video location, and because we are deleting a record and inserting freshly, again the count will become 1 for a new record. Initially put the timestamp as null and then update the timestamp. So let me execute the program once again. Now, before executing the program, everybody please observe my cache table has 3 entries. Video 1, video 10 and video 4. Sorry, video 1, video 4, video 10. Everybody will now realize, in case if a new video request comes, the oldest timestamp, that is video 1, should be removed. Even though count is 1 for all the records, I believe everybody understood. So let me just write so that you will have a screenshot with the running notes. Now, if a new request arrives, video 1 shall be removed as it has least count and oldest timestamp. That's all. If you want to know whether it is really working in that manner, suppose if video 1 or video 4 or video 10 comes, then count should be increased and timestamp should change. Now let me execute the program. Complete program, no? Now for that purpose, let me not display this files list. We don't want the files list. It is unnecessary. So now, oh, video 1, video 4. Oh, these are the things. Now we are requesting video 9 is, everybody please observe. After I executed one more time, video 9 is the new request. What are the values available in cache? 1, 10, 4. The least count is 1. How many has least count? All the files have least count. Now which one to remove? The oldest timestamp. Which has the oldest timestamp? The oldest timestamp is the video ID 10001. I believe you have understood. Let me show you the program. Now, if you go here, you will get the even LRU records also. Here you can see 0 rows, but if you click, data will come. Here, if you see clearly, because always the view will be updated dynamically. So let us see the cache table now. Clearly you can see video 1 is gone and video 9 has come with the current timestamp. Video 9 is there with the current timestamp. Mike, when I executed the program, the time is 6:13. So in this manner, you can keep on executing. Video 1 is removed and video 9 is replaced in place of video 1. Like that, you keep on executing the program, you will get different scenarios. If you really want to know now what will be there in LRU records, in LRU records, everything will come, because again, the count is 1 only. The count is 1 only. Now that's it. I have taken 5 more minutes than 6:10. So in case if you have any difficulty in understanding the program, please let me ask. Today, with the permission of organizers,